Hello viewers, you're welcome again to another Cradle to Harvard online class. It's basic technology and I'll be teaching JSS1. Our topic for today is metal work hand tools. Under metal work hand tools, we're going to be looking at marking out cutting tools. Learner's objective. At the end of this lesson, you learners should be able to list and identify 4 metal working tools, list and identify 3 metal work measuring tools, and list and identify 4 metal work cutting tools. Introduction. Metal work hand tools basically have 2 types, and we'll have the machine tools and the hand tools. We're going to be considering the hand tools, but under it, we'll be looking at marking out tools, measuring tools, and cutting tools. We'll start first with marking out tools. In metalwork, marking out tools are used to check alignments on surfaces or indicating points or positions. As we all know, it is very important to mark out, and it goes in line with measuring. Some of the tools involve odd leg calipers, scribers, dividers, punches, and the tri-square. But first, we'll be looking at the surface plate. The surface plate has its place just like the table for a carpenter. On it, the metal work piece are placed on for marking out and for measurement. Like we have the picture, this is absolute metal. Another is the surface table. This is just in a larger form of the surface plates. The same function is carried out on this, measuring and marking out of work piece. All right, this is a scriber. Scribers perform the same function like the pen tool. Now, we say in metal work that the scriber is the pen tool of the metal. What it does is that it does the marking out of the metal lines, parallel lines, conjunctions with the ruler and the tri-square. All right, this is the odd leg caliper. The odd leg caliper performs the same function like the compass. Now, what it does is that it locates the center of a radius or a metal piece that is either square or rectangular in shape. Now, this groove you see here is placed at the edge of the metal piece, either cylindrical or in box form, and then this sharp edge performs the function of locating the center of the workpiece, and that is where the marking out is carried out. Another one we see here is the divider. Now, the divider are used for scribing arcs, cycles, curves, and setting of distances. Performs almost the same function like the compasses. But while the odd leg caliper locates the center, this one can do general circumference, radius, and what have you on the metal piece. This is the punch. The punch is used to punch in holes to make marks, just to locate the point of drill. Now, a metal piece needs to be punched so that the drill bits can identify where it's going to place on before drilling is carried out. And as you can see, the point is 90. This is a tri-square. The tri-square performs the function of locating the alignment of a workpiece, angle 90 degree externally or internally. Externally, you need to put the metal piece between it. Externally, you need to put it outside of it, and it will locate the 90 degree, just for accuracy purpose. The metal work measuring tool. Now, I want you to take note of this statement. There's a usual saying that goes thus: measure twice, cut once. As we all know, it is very important to take your time as a technician in carrying out your measurements so as not to end in error or probably trial by error. This is just for the purpose of clarity and accuracy. One of those tools we see here is the steel rule. The steel rule, like you see, is just similar to that of a ruler in your math set, but this is made of steel. What it does is that it carries out measurements, parallel, straight, whatever it is, but it does the function on metals, and that is why it's called a steel rule. Calipers. Now, this looks almost similar to that of the old leg caliper, but this functions just for measuring. And what it does is that in measuring, the calipers are divided into two, like we have the outside caliper and we have the inside caliper. While this takes the measurements of the inner part of a cylinder, this does the measurement of the outer part of a cylinder. Vernier calipers. The vernier calipers, before then, the micrometer screw gauge. The micrometer screw gauge is a very, very important tool to metal workers, and it does the function of precision in measurements, especially tiny measurements such as thin wires. Now, the details you're seeing here, the labeling of it. Now, this spindle is adjustable. It is the only movable part of this micrometer, and how it moves is through this ratchet. When it is adjusted to whatever size or diameter of the thin wire, then the measurement is read here on the sleeve, and it is done for precision purposes. Another is the vernier caliper. Now, the vernier caliper does both function of measuring the internal part and the external part of a diameter. Metal work cutting tools. The metal work cutting tools function with regards removing piece or parts of the metal, and one of those is the chisel. The chisel are made of high carbon steel used for shaping metals where finishing can be carried out. One of those chisels we see here is the flat chisel. It's a general purpose chisel. Generally, metal workers will always have this chisel in their box, if at all they have none other. Other types of chisel include the cross-cut chisel, the round-nose chisel, the diamond point chisel, the half-round chisel, the cape chisel. Some of the uses include that of the cross-cut chisel, used for cutting narrow grooves, and the grooves look something like this. Now, in areas where the saw can't fit in, the chisels perform those functions. Like if a hole wants to be made here, the chisel can do the function of bringing out this particular material out for this to remain plain. And afterwards, we'll have something like this. And this will be left empty. All right. Coming to files. Files are used for finishing and smoothing of metals to the required size and shapes. One of those files we see here is the flat file. The flat file is used to remove small roughness from flat surfaces, leaving it smooth. It contains a rectangular cross section. Over here is where the rectangular cross section is, and the filing part looks something like in a hash form. Now, this is the cutting portion of the file, and it does the function of removing excessive layers of material from the workpiece to attain smoothness or the desired shape. Other types of file include the square file, half round file, triangle file, and the hand file, where specification is needed. The last under the cutting tool is the hacksaw. Now, the hacksaw is a tool with a narrow blade, which you have here. It has a frame, and the junior hacksaw is something that looks smaller to this. Now, this blade has the cutting teeth, and the teeth are directed moving forward. So, the metal is chopped forward. As it moves forward, it cuts the excess piece or the unwanted piece out to have the desired shape or size. Assignments. Number 1, draw 2 other types of cutting chisel. I already named some, so you draw them, Google, and you'll get the pictures. Number 2, state the use of a cutting snips and draw it. The cutting snips is another cutting tool. Functions almost like a cutting plier. When you Google it, you'll see the picture. State the use of a junior hacksaw and draw it. Like I was explaining the other hacksaw, I said there is a junior one and it looks similar to that, so you check it out. I trust you had a nice time. I'll see you in our next class. Thank you.